Oh hey, you're probably wondering what a handsome handyman such as myself is doing out here. Well, if that wasn't what you were wondering, I'm going to tell you anyway. I've been playing a lot of Mario Maker 2 lately, and I feel like I've exhausted what fun I could get out of it for now. So, I decided to make my own Mario Maker stage. In real life. Under me. Don't worry about that. If I enjoy this experience, maybe I could charge people to enjoy it as well. Anyway, enough about that. Let's give this thing a shot. Let's go!
The mating habits of the North American grizzly bear are some of the most aggressive found in the animal kingdom. The male pronounces his love, and then he is quickly shot down because he is a drinker. This script doesn't seem right. Could I talk to someone about this?
Have you ever played a game and thought to yourself, wow, I wish there was more to this, or maybe you said something along the lines of, I can't wait for the sequel. This is the duality of man, or the duality of the typical person who enjoys games? Gamer? Whatever you want to call yourself, buddy, it's your life. What's the threshold of the amount of DLC before the companies decide to make their next installment? When does the DLC become its own standalone? Where is the line in the sand even drawn? Where am I? Hello? When talking about DLC, it's important to consider the different types of DLC. This is completely dependent on what they bring to the table. Some DLC feel like an entirely new game with expanded story, new areas, characters, the works. While some DLC will only provide a few cosmetic options for the main character, maybe a handful of cutscenes.
Motorcycle horse.
The line gets blurred with some games, however. A great example would be Shovel Knight, a game that I hold dearly. There's the original base game, Shovel of Hope, as well as the side story, Plague of Shadows, the prequel story, Spectre of Torment, and the prequel, King of Cards. The three latter stories are standalone content, but they're considered campaigns on the Wikia. Would you consider them DLC? It seems as though the deciding factor for when the next installment is due depends entirely on the companies themselves. With Nintendo, they like to use their shiny new titles to push hardware. You want to play that new Smash Brothers or Legend of Zelda? Brother, you better toss a couple of hundos at that cashier if you want to leave with the new Nintendo Switch XL. Microsoft will get bored halfway through and never finish it. Crackdown 3? Capcom will take a year or two for their big expansions, or just cancel the game outright for whatever reason. Again, there's no real format that's followed. It's like the digital Wild West out there. Personally, my favorite type of DLC is the ones that give you new toys in a 3D environment that you've grown to love. A sandbox.
Motorcycle horse.
Which brings me to what I really want to talk about. It seems that the current trend in gaming is, you don't like how we do it? Fine, do it yourself. They're starting to put creative power back into the hands of the community. What's a better tagline for a game than a game where the game is the fans making the game? A great example of this would be GTA 5's online content creator, Bethesda's Creation Club, Fortnite's creative mode, and in a more simple and easily accessible case, Mario Maker 2. What do these games have to do with the subject of DLC? Well, a lot actually. DLC that adds new assets to these types of titles yield a higher return. By that I mean to say, in a game where the fun is making the game you or your friends are playing, a DLC that gives you new toys to play with unlocks near limitless possibilities for replayability, and therefore increasing the shelf life of a game. Think of it like a board game. How many times can you and the boys break out Monopoly before you say, can we play something else? Now, what if Hasbro released some add-ons that allowed you to name your prices on the board? Or what if you could make your own event cards? Think about house rules. House rules are a great example of increasing the life of a game. Ooh, what if Monopoly had boxing? When you get down to the brass tacks, the whole purpose of DLC is to increase a game's longevity. Before DLC was ever a possibility, companies had to rely on other tactics to increase the life of a game. They had to give something that kept you glued to the screen and make you feel like you got your money's worth out of the game. A popular tactic at the time was increased difficulty, or fake increased difficulty, by way of making the controls intentionally suck rocks.
You were almost a Jills.
You're right.
Back then, and even to this day, Fans who wanted more banded together to create ways to make a game more fun or last longer. Smash Brothers Brawl mods have been around so long they could vote and die for their country. Skyrim as well as Oblivion and Morrowind are still kicking around. With this sort of common mentality, a whole new sense of community was born. The mod scene. While I love and advocate for fans keeping a good game alive, it seems as though the companies that produce the games don't feel the same way. From a business perspective, I guess it makes sense, considering older games potentially drive down sales for new titles, though I would argue it keeps hype relevant for the next installment. That's probably why servers start shutting down and support for older games and consoles end so abruptly. Remember Miiverse functionality in games? So many Wind Waker wieners. Some companies, such as Activision, still have servers running for things like the Wii port of Modern Warfare. So, who's to say the two things are even connected? Got off on a tangent there. Now, I know a lot of people don't like the concept of DLC, because the game should come with all the pieces and parts, but in my opinion, I think... Oh, sorry, Wait, hey, hold on a second. Are we seriously watching this documentary again? Can we please watch something else? Come on, my arm hurts. Fine. Can you at least pass me the popcorn?